everyone, Kristen here. If you are new to my channel, my name is Kristen Sarah. You should probably subscribe so you don't miss out on any upcoming awesome travel videos. And with me is Alex. And you want to tell us a little bit about who you are and your channel?
Of course, my name's Alex Chacon. I have a channel where I do a lot of epic selfies. I do the RTW Motorcycle Diaries, and I do a lot of drone flying. So it's really an adventure travel channel for like overlanding and epic road trips.
In this video, we're going to be talking a little bit about alternative travel. So if you didn't know this already, myself and my hubby, Sia, we just bought an Airstream. So an Airstream is like those big metallic RVs, and we bought it to live in full time if we're not traveling abroad somewhere. And when we're home, we're going to be living in it and traveling across Canada and the US. And you have a little bit of experience with road tripping as a way of travel.
Yeah.
You travel by motorcycle.
Yeah, so my entire life is on a motorcycle in bags and everything else, and I had to battle the elements.
There are different ways of traveling, and road tripping is a great way to experience a new place. So I'd like to ask you, as someone who has traveled, how many places have you traveled by motorcycle?
All of like 5-6 continents, over 300,000 kilometers on the motorcycles for the past 4 years.
What are some benefits of traveling by motorcycle compared to other types of travel?
So the best thing about being on the road is meeting people who have never seen a tourist before. Wherever you go, you get a chance to meet people and experience things in a way that the typical backpacker wouldn't.
So you get to really get off the beaten path and enter some like villages that travelers don't usually get to see. So you get these like really unique cultural experiences.
You know, and with your Airstream, if you find other people with Airstreams, you're like family the moment you get on.
There's like a whole other world of like this type of traveler that I'm really excited to break into.
And with motorcycles as well, anybody on the road that's a biker is your friend. So if you break down, if you need food, if you need housing, people see you and you're immediately family. So you have a friend in every country when you ride a motorcycle or do an alternative vehicle like an RV or a 4x4. People recognize and really connect with that.
Okay, so now we've talked about the benefits. What are the challenges of road tripping, traveling by motorcycle?
There's certainly a lot of challenges, and I think the first one is fear. I think people are so scared of realizing their dream, which is either driving or overlanding, so it's kind of scary at the beginning. So, you know, you gotta have a lot of courage, gotta have a lot of ideas, you gotta be very creative, because you never know when your tire goes flat and you can't speak the language, or you can get, you know, supplies and such, or oil, whatever it is, so it's just a different dynamic.
I'm sure you've had quite a few flat tires, I'm assuming.
Well, here's a funny thing about my flat tire theory is that I went from Alaska to Argentina and back in 500 days. I got 0 flat tires. Then I did a tour for 6 months.
Of course.
Somewhere else of, again, Alaska to Argentina, around there, and I got 36 flat tires. But you know what? When I had flat tires, there was always somebody to help me and always somebody that helped me out.
I find too that like we have this perception that travel is scary and people are scary, but really people are good. Generally people are good and people will help you, especially in situations when you need them the most, like a flat tire in the middle of nowhere. The people who are watching want to travel, maybe have done a lot of travel, but are looking for a different way to see the world, like motorbike for example, or Airstream or whatever, road trip wise. What advice would you give to them?
Yeah, so let's categorize it. Off the beaten path adventures. If you don't want to drive a vehicle, you know, rent something for a day. You don't have to drive it 6 months or 8 months out of the year. Rent a local motorbike in Thailand or something. It's very cheap, very effective, and it's like riding a bicycle.
So you're getting like a little taste of it before you really go into it, like what you're doing.
Yeah, so.
I also would recommend if you maybe want to get off the beaten path and you don't want to buy a vehicle per se, you can always use your feet. Just go and walk around a place and just get lost. It's the best way to have like the most unique experiences. The best experiences I've had personally have been when I just have gotten lost, and those are the memories that I have that are just the best.
Check out woofing. Do some organic farming and, you know, supplement your time there for free stay. Meet people, travel later, learn a language.
Absolutely, love woofing. I've done it a couple times and been really great experiences to really get immersed in the culture, and also I wouldn't say traveling for free because you're working for accommodations and meals and such, but it's a great way to travel if you're on a budget especially. Now for people who are like, okay, yeah, I want to actually do exactly what you're doing, Alex. I want to buy a motorbike, I want to travel across India, which I saw a lot of people doing. What's the first thing that they should do?
So the first thing you should do when you think of a motorcycle adventure is obviously have the skills and the confidence in yourself to know that you can drive a vehicle in a different country. Obviously research the laws of the road, you want to research the dangers, and you want to have a motorcycle that you're comfortable with. You don't want to grab a giant 1200cc motorcycle, for instance your size, because you couldn't even reach the floor, so don't do that.
I'm short? I'm very short.
So don't do that. And once you have confidence in yourself, regardless if you have a lot of ability, that confidence will take you through, because in the majority of the world, most people drive motorcycles and they start from very young to very old. And I've seen old ladies to a group of family members on one bike.
I've got to say this, I was just in Indonesia and I saw a 7-year-old, quite a few of them riding motorbikes. I'm like, what is happening?
So educate yourself. Figure out what you're good at, what you're not good at. Start small, rent a bike, but realize that everybody else, a lot of people are doing it, and they're confident in their abilities, and they pack all their backpacks on the back, and as long as you go really, really slow, any motorcycle is an adventure motorcycle.
I actually I drove a motorbike around India a little bit too, and I thought it would be a lot scarier than it was. But if you're like aware and you're just careful, it was pretty exciting and quite safe. I mean, like,
just go with the local traffic.
Goes.
Yeah. So if you want to survive anywhere, just see how they're driving and follow one person. So if you want to start off slow, get on the main road and follow one person around. Even if they go the wrong way, it gives you an idea of how to experience the traffic. So watch the traffic, analyze it, then get in.
Drive like the locals.
Yeah.
That's a great tip. I think another thing that everyone watching would love to know is how much does it cost to ride a motorbike across the country compared to backpacking across the country? I would assume that maybe it would cost a little bit more, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, so this is the way I figured is when I first started traveling, I had a budget to backpack for about 3 months. Then I said, you know what, I think I can find a more economical way. So once I extended that trip to 6 months, I realized that the money was a lot cheaper to do a motorcycle. And that's because you can camp anywhere you want in the outside cities. You can carry a lot less gear, you can carry your own food. You meet people that are much nicer to you, give you free accommodations. So through that, it was actually cheaper for me to ride a motorcycle. However, if you find yourself in a big situation where your engine blows up or you have all these replacement parts, it can get about the same price from what I've seen as far as backpacking is concerned. So to give you a very specific example, is Alaska to Argentina, right? You're gonna, it depends on what countries you go to, but that entire trip for about 6 to 8 months could take you between $10,000 US dollars to $15,000 US dollars, even upwards to $20,000 US dollars. If you were to do that on a bicycle, it'd be a little cheaper, you know, pedaling bike for 2 years and so forth. It'd be around the same amount of money, but it'd take you 2 years to do it.
I don't think my legs could take that. I'd be really fit though, that's for sure.
Yeah, and then the backpackers I've seen that do that trip through buses, airplanes, trains, the whole deal, spend about the same, if not more, in that amount of time. So for me, I saw more places and more experiences using a motorbike, which would have been exactly the same for me on the backpacker, but I got more.
If you want to buy a bike in India, it's relatively cheap, and then you do your adventure, and then you sell it to the next person who wants to go on an adventure, next traveler, right?
Right, absolutely. So you can either rent motorcycles really cheap, in Asia especially, or in India. You can buy and sell motorcycles. There's a really great resource I'll give you later for that. And you can even just borrow motorcycles. This is a great webpage where if they see you're a biker, you can trade bikes. So if anybody ever comes to your place, they borrow your motorcycle, your car, and they'll lend you their motorcycle and their car in their country.
Love it, love it. And I also want to point out too that since we bought the Airstream, people have commented like, oh my God, like you must be rich, you have an Airstream. Actually, no, we were wasting money on paying rent in Toronto when we were traveling all the time. Now that we have a home on wheels where we get to travel, we get to have something that we can call ours, and it's going to cost a lot less than having a mortgage, like most of our friends. But we're also gonna get to see different parts of Canada, different parts of the US, maybe even go to Mexico, who knows? So it's actually ends up being cheaper. Now, let's hear these resources that you have for everybody watching.
Right, so if you wanna do overland travel, that's motorcycle, that's RVing, that's 4x4s, whatever your niche is. Great resource is going to be adventurerider.com. It's going to be horizonsunlimited.com. This is where I usually find all the information for border crossings, for your vehicle issues, with road issues, places to go, the best scenic roads in the world. Other resources obviously can be your Couchsurfing, your Airbnb, your typical things like that, and obviously your government website to see which countries you can go into and you can go into with vehicles, and obviously the region websites as well for overland travel that give you travel notices, anything that's kind of dangerous going on or things you should watch out for.
Lots of good resources there. I'll leave all the links to those in the description box below, along all the links to Alex's social media and YouTube page and all that stuff. Go on over, check out his channel, subscribe to him, and subscribe to me if you haven't already. And thanks for watching, guys. I hope we gave you a different perspective on how you can travel. And before you go anywhere, don't forget to head on over to Alex's channel. We did a video over there on his, so go check it out. And we'll see you later. Happy travels.
See ya.